today the topic is Return of God. Previous we discussed about fall of America, the fall of Western civilization. The reason behind is the return of gods. This is the main reason why the Western civilization is about to crash down and the judgment is coming, the destroyer is coming back. So we need to learn these things before we go into things, the prophetic events that is happening. So today I'm going to talk about Return of the Gods, part 2 of the series, and we will be taking a look, a brief history about how the Western civilization was born. The early Western civilization was born based on the Greek and the Roman influence. So Rome greatly impacted the Western civilization to be born. So Rome was the main foundation of all Western civilization, how the Western civilization was built, because Rome ruled over the whole Western European countries. It was the main empire that controlled over 2000 years ago. So Rome worshipped many gods back then. So the Greek and the Western countries, like the European countries, they worshiped pagan gods before they embraced Christ. There was a god called god of sexuality. For everything, they had gods. So you can see my slides. So for everything, they had gods. So for sexuality, they have Pudor and Virtus, these two deities. So they were male and female, and they one about self-control, governing oneself, and all those things. However, we know by studying the sexuality of the Greeks, we know that they didn't have conditions to lie with a male or a female. So they had gay sex, and everything was open. The sexual culture was open. So their sexuality back then was, different to what now Western society believes, stands on the Christian Western society. So they, so these these two deities were prominent in the, in their worship. So they had deities and sexuality, it was open sex at that time. So in the Roman age, they were more, they, in the society, they were more open sex, like, in like America right now. These deities were the main key elements, and there was another god of sacrifice. He is known as Zeus. Zeus was a classical Greek pantheon, and archaeologists discovered, some young male remains who were sacrificed to Zeus, Mount Lycaon. So on that mountain they worshipped Zeus. So they sacrificed animals, and also they did human sacrifice to Zeus. So they believe that, there is a story, a legend of the Lycaon, the werewolf story. We have seen werewolves, the people turning into wolves. So according to the Greek geography, Lycaon, the first king of Arcadia, sacrificed one of his sons and served him to Zeus at a dinner party. So what this king did was he sacrificed his own son for Zeus, at a dinner party. Okay, this is the culture that the Western society was built on. In response, Zeus transformed Lycaon and his other sons into wolves. So this transformation of werewolf, we see these movies transforming man into a wolf. This mythology began with this Greek culture. In Sri Lanka, we have a person like a wolf man. It's a hybrid. So it is an evil spirit. So this evil spirit was influenced, and they sacrificed their own sons and daughters for this god called Zeus, and they sacrificed animals in the altar where boy would be slaughtered or alongside the animals. The meat would be cooked together, and those who consume human flesh would turn into wolf for 9 years. If they abstain, they could return to their original form. So, what they did was, after sacrificing, along with the you know meat, they cooked it and ate to become wolves. So we see in the Western society right now, we have this vampire, a cult called vampire. They drink human blood and all those things. These are occults. This is how how these Romans and this Western society lived. This is how they lived. They sacrificed their own sons and daughters. They ate them, and we can see finding a method of sacrifice. These are remains of a young boy. Archaeologists found these remains. Now people say no, Zeus is a good god and this and that. But this is what is happened in the before Christianity came into the Western countries. So this is how they lived. They lived like cannibals. They were, they worship many gods, Zeus and all those gods. And there was a god called God for War also. It's called God of Destruction. So we know Mars. We have named Mars, the planet as Mars, but it was a god. So the Mars is a son of Jupiter, and the chief god of Juno. So he had a military role. So Roman military worship this Mars. So they worshipped, and when they killed, and the blood and all those things were sacrificed for Mars. So people feared Roman captivity and all those things. That's why they crucify, they torture, they burn. That's how they invaded countries. So they also had a god of divine wisdom. So the god of divine wisdom, you can see the image. You might have seen this image in hospitals and all those things. This logo must have been seen. So this is the sign of the serpent. So in the pagan world, the serpent was often seen as a source of divine wisdom. So we know in the Bible, the serpent is the one who tempted people to become like God, and also to know the good and evil. He was the knowledge of good and evil. Because of that, the sin came into the world. So the sign of the serpent, this is what they worshipped, and this is what we have in the hospitals. and we have many hospitals. This logo is being given, and we see still this temple is still being people go into these temples, because the return of the gods have right now captive, you know, the Western society. So it is coming in a different image. Now you have seen Zeus, and these things are returning. You know, in movies we see Thor, the thunder, and you know, these gods becoming superheroes, and we see movies about them. The you know, Atlantic. These gods, the demi-gods, and all those things, you know, come into play. So we have so many movies made from Western countries portraying these gods as heroes, and this is a new way of resurrecting these gods. So we see these things happening, you know, in the media, and the media, you know, pushes these gods and all those things. Why is this happening? This is we'll talk about this after we discuss about these gods. And you know, in serpent in the Bible is a cunning one. Genesis 3:1 refers serpent as a cunning. So serpent in the Hebrew vocabulary is seraphim. So seraphim is a angel. So serpentine angel, the fallen angel, is called as the you know, serpent. So in the Revelation it says the great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. So we see God of divine wisdom of the Western world is the serpent, that is Satan. So Satan is the one who control. We can see these things, you know, how these things are coming back to life, and we also see, because of that knowledge, we have made medicines and different things, you know, the abortion and all those things. Abortion happens in the hospitals, so the hospital logo is the serpent. So the serpent gives wisdom to the people to do these things. So we can see this sacrificial thing is now coming into play in a different way. This is the different type of a sacrifice. You know, it is how Satan is deceiving in the Western countries. He is coming different, in a different form, with wisdom. The serpent is coming with science and technology. So we can see the return of the God is happening right now in America, the Western countries, with the new discoveries of science. We know CERN is trying to open a black hole. It was open, the black hole was open, the small black hole was open on April 8th, when the eclipse was happening. So a new type of a temple was constructed with technology, and AI is taking control, and these demigods, and there were gods in the Bible. How these gods were fallen angels, mostly referred to as unclean spirits. In the ancient times, people worshipped these unclean spirits. So what these people worshipped, I was going through, what these people were worshipping was fallen angels, unclean spirits, Satan. They also referred these fallen angels were referred as sons of gods before the flood. Many of the Greek demigods are called sons of gods. These demigods are made by gods having sexual relationship with women, okay, earthly women. In the Bible, they were referred as the Nephilims. Okay, in the Bible, we have the same story of the birth of the Nephilims before the flood. These were the first demigods. People worship these giant hybrids. Also, mighty men and king rulers were also called gods. For example, Nimrod. Nimrod, who built the Babel tower, was a god. And in the ancient times, Caesar was called a god. And in Egypt, the Pharaoh was a god. So these rulers became god. First civilization, Western civilization, worship these demigods, fallen angels, and people who ruled over them. Okay, so these demigods, we can have, for example, Perseus, Hercules, Jason. We hear these stories of Perseus was the son of Zeus, and Hercules was also a son of Zeus. Uh, like that, they were born out of fallen angels. So they worship these fallen angels' offspring. So fallen gods against the children of God. So when these fallen gods, fallen angels took control of the world, they persecuted, they killed so many children of God. First killing was done. They killed Abel, son of Adam. So Satan influenced, the sin influence came to kill Abel. So Abel was killed. Like that, the whole, the fallen nature of the fallen angels and the fallen men wanted to kill God-fearing people. So in the Roman time, there was crucifixion. Roman killed many Christians and Jews because they believed in one God. The unclean spirits were against God's plan and they persecuted many Christians and Jews. So there is a war between God and also the fallen angels. When fallen angels take controls, the unclean spirit take controls of a place, this persecution start to come against God's children who speaks uh, about God and His word. So when this was the early Western civilization, okay, so early civilization of Western countries was born based on Rome. So Rome, there was a exorcism of Rome happened. So exorcism of Rome happened through Paul. Okay, Paul's exorcism. So Paul was the person who went with the gospel to Rome. So after Jesus was crucified, many centurions believed in Christ. Rome was evangelized by Paul, and he was executed in Rome because many stopped worshipping Greek gods. Because of the gospel of believing Jesus Christ, exorcism started. Possession of evil spirit was expelled out, exiled. The Roman gods were starting to be rejected by people. because of the gospel of Christ. So the empire was falling apart, and most of the Roman soldiers were Christians when Constantine came. When the Roman Empire was falling apart, so Constantine accepted Jesus, and he then had won a war, and he made the whole empire, Roman Empire, a Christian nation. So this is when Catholicism was born. So Rome accepted Jesus and his word, and because of that, exorcism happened. When we accept Jesus Christ and the word of God, the we can get free from unclean spirits. It is same for the normal person. If we believe Jesus and if we accept the word of God and do his will, what happens is whatever the unclean expelled from our bodies, and we will be cleaned, and we will be emptied out from all spirits. So the Western civilization was now converting into Christianity, and their new thinking and all these things were reshaping. So before they were sacrificing their sons and daughters and eating them, and now they after they accept Jesus Christ, they are changing. Their civilization started to change. So after changing, Jesus warned. There is a warning. Jesus warning: if Western civilization turns away, what will happen? So we can read about this. What will happen to Western society? When an unclean spirit goes out of a man, he goes through dry places seeking rest and finds none. Then he says, I will return to my house from which I came. And when he came, he finds it empty, swept and put in order. Then he goes and take with him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and then enter to the dwelling place there. And the last state of the man is worse than the man first. So shall it again be with the wicked generation. So this is a warning what will happen. So when the evil spirits, the early gods goes out, what happens is they will lurk around, wait for the correct time to get in. When the people refuse the word of God, and they push away the word from the schools and the society, and they reject Christ, what happens is they become empty. After they become empty, they think, okay, we are knowledgeable, we have science, know about nothing, we believe in science, there is no spiritual realm, so we don't need to worry about that. When they do like live like that, what happens is, the place will be empty. There is no God to protect, there is no prayer to protect. What happens is these evil spirits bring more deadlier spirits. So in Revelation we see there are more deadlier fallen angels than the early fallen angels. They will come back, into this Western society. So we can see when the gods return, this evil spirit returns. We saw in Germany what happened. Hitler killed many Jews in gas they gassed them and they killed many Jews, and they persecuted many Jewish people. Abrahamic, they wanted to destroy entire Abrahamic generation. They were Christians, but they didn't accept the word, and they didn't accept the people who brought the word. So what they did was they straight away went and executed all the God-fearing children. This is what is happening in Western society right now. We saw stabbing in Sidney. Bishop Mar Mari was stabbed while he was preaching live in an Assyrian church. Muslim young 16-year-old boy came and said Allahu Akbar, and he started stabbing Mar Mari, the priest, last time. And also the Muslims started, even they come from Abrahamic lineage, they started killing their own brothers. We can see the same thing happen in the early stage when Adam and Eve have two sons. One was Cain, one was Abel. When Abel's sacrifice, God accept Abel's sacrifice, what Cain did was, Cain got angry because God didn't accept his sacrifice. What he did was he killed Abel. Same thing is happening. The division will come. Satan will influence every, these even inside churches to revolt against God's law and kill themselves. This is how the return of the gods happens. When Adam and Eve listened to the serpent and did his will, and they ate the knowledge of fruit, what happened was one of his son had to pay by blood. So Cain sacrificed Abel for his own sin. So this was the warning God gave. Why God gave his own son to us. Because of our sin, he gave his own son as a sacrifice. Because people's evil, wickedness is, they need to see blood. So when Rome was changed back to Christian again, Paul was executed, many Christians were killed, the blood was spilled, and this blood was the seed of redemption for Rome. Same thing happened, Jesus Christ's blood and all the blood of the martyrs became the seed for the church. So we can see when destruction comes, when the gods, the fallen gods come against Christians, it is warned in Revelation. There will be a deadlier time than Rome. So we can see when the new spirits return, it will be deadlier than Roman Empire. The persecution will be deadlier than Roman Empire. So the new era of the Western civilization will be more deadlier and worse than before, because they have rejected Christ and his word. So this is what's going to happen for this is what is going to happen in Western civilization. It is the start of the fall, and this destruction will come upon the Western civilization. This is what is happening right now. I said after the eclipse, Israel will come back to life. Okay, after the Western civilization fall, Israel will get back the power, because the Western civilization was against the early Jews, was against their own brother. So now the brother is standing back and God is blessing Israel back. And we saw there was a attack against Israel. Iran sent 300 plus missiles and drones, but only two penetrated because of the invention, because of the security they have. So Iran and all those people, when they attack this, the attack Israel, what will happen is it will automatically will backfire on them. Because of this issue, you know, Bishop Mar Mari, if you search, he's a famous TikToker. Because this the young kid went and stabbed him, because of the stabbing, now people are looking at Muslims and the Muslim religion, as it is not a peaceful religion. They portray as a peaceful religion, but what the new thing, these when these things are happening, they will, in these Western civilizations, they will war against these Muslim people, and they will be marginalized. This is what is happening in Palestine. Western and the Syria and Iran, these Pakistan and all these Muslim countries will fall, because the Western countries will start persecuting back the Muslims. However, we need to know we are fighting against our own brother. Okay, they believed in one God. Even Jews believe in one God, and even though they don't believe Jesus as God, they come from the same foundation, Abrahamic foundation. So Abraham was the father of our religion. So he is the father of Muslims, he is the father of Christians, he is the father of Catholics, he is the father of Jews, he is the father of Orthodox Christianity. He is the father. As God promised, he became the father. However, the brothers are fighting against each other. So we need to understand who is the culprit, who made Cain kill Abel. So this is what is happening right now. Now, it is not, we are not fighting against the fallen gods or the fallen civilizations. We are fighting with each other. So right now, the presently, what is happening is uh, the Western civilization is falling apart, the Muslim empire is falling apart, and while these are falling apart, God is building back the third temple through the Jews. So we will see in future the third temple will be rebuilt, and Antichrist, many of the Christians, Jews, Muslims, and other people will accept this Antichrist as their ruler, and he will become like Caesar, he will become God. Like Pharaoh, he will become like God. So he will return, and he will be like God, and he will sit on the temple of God, and he will say that to worship him, and who doesn't worship him will be killed, and persecuted, and this is what is going to happen in the near future. Before the tribulation will come. Why the tribulation is coming? It is coming because we have opened a way for the fallen angels to enter and destroy our civilization. We rejected God, we rejected Christ, we rejected the word of God, and we persecuted our own brothers and sisters. And because of that reason, we will see a fall of this Western civilization. Currently, it is falling. Even though you won't see, you don't see it properly. You might say we are mighty and we have science and technology, we have weapons and everything, but bit by bit, Satan is taking control of your civilization. You know, uh, the age of the gods are returning back. The age of the ancient gods are returning back. You can see silently we are sacrificing our own children for our own benefit. You know, to have more sex and have sexual relationships, we go and have abortions, and we sacrifice our own children for pleasure. And we can see what we are doing right now. There are goddesses, the porn industry introduced goddesses. People look at this porn, and they do their sexual things, and they invite these evil spirits into their lives. So these things are happening. The porn industry and all this sexual revolution and all these things open a way to these sexual gods. One might say, no, these sexual gods are good. I took these deities from the internet. Internet is sugar icing, putting icing on these gods. However, when we look at the history of this sexuality and all these things, we can see there is, the whole thing was, the sex and everything was open, and women, men, these things were there back then. Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed because of that. The Western civilization is turning away from the natural law of male female, and they are inventing new genders to have satisfaction. And they are also started to sacrifice their own children to this Zeus, and the temple is also built to sacrifice these children. The temple of the serpent, the knowledge um, uh, who gave us wisdom, that temples are resurrected, and we call it as hospitals. That's why this logo is here. And we do all abortions and all these things, the medication to stop babies, to destroy our own organs, and all these things, removing our organs, sacrificing our organs to make others live. These things are happening in these temples. Those days, humans were sacrificed for own prosperity. So right now we give money to a person. Okay, I need your kidney to live more. So the person takes the money and go to that hospital, and he gives the kidney or a lung or anything or a part of a body, so he can live more and do more sinful acts. So we can see the resurrection of temples are newly emerging. Now, when I show these things, you might see what is happening. We thought the hospitals, the medical industry, and all these things were good. It was good for us, but however, we can see the signs and all these things. The return of the gods has been taking place ever since the fall of Christianity. So before, the medication or anything was done by a priest. So the fathers went to the places and they purified them and they gave medication and all those things. However, now new priests have emerged. So in the end times, Jesus said, say the false prophet and this Antichrist will have, he will do more miracles. He will do more miracles. We thought, okay, while praying, they will do miracles. But we know the new technology, new invention, the new priest have brought in the new way of doing miracles. There is no limb, they will make a limb. When there is no, what do you call, if there is a problem in a kidney, they will transplant another kidney. So these things, these miracles are happening under the new person who is coming for you. He is the Antichrist, he is the new ruler. Now the stage is set to this demigods, and also it will be like the days of Noah, and there will be hybrids will be returning. That's why science is right now experimenting on hybrid animals, hybrid humans, hybrid giants will emerge, and they will be more powerful than the humans. So people will worship these hybrids. So we will be seeing hybrids will be coming in the future. So we see science as now the knowledge of man has more than we can imagine. They can build new type of nephilims, and we see CERN is creating its own they are trying to open a gateway into the spiritual realm by colliding these particles. So they managed to open a small black hole in the acceleration collider on April 8, when America. So I ask you to return. I ask you to return back to God and pray. This battle can't be won by weapons or anything. It only can be won if we turn away from our wicked ways and give room to God, because the destruction is in near future. And Jesus said this it will be worse than the first. So shall it also be with the wicked generation. So if we go in a wrong path, if we become wicked, this will happen. I encourage you, I encourage everybody, please be in prayer for your countries. Pray for them. And, I know it's hard. It is hard to live in a sinful environment. Even for me, it is hard. The movies we see, the media we see, the things we see always, open a gateway to these evil spirits. So when these things happen, we have to leave this away and turn to God and turn to His Spirit and His wisdom and understanding. These things again in Sri Lanka, every place, Europe, America, China, Russia, these nations are falling apart and the gods are returning back. When these gods come, when these fallen entities come, it will be worse than the first empires. So the last empire will be worse. Remember, while we are closing our eyes, Satan has already built his temples, erected his things, and we are also going without knowing. So glory be to God. Let's discuss about this topic. I will open a discussion for this topic. If you have questions, you can talk and we can discuss about the whole thing. I hope you learn what is currently happening to the Western countries. So let's have a discussion about this. The discussion table is open. So let's have the discussion. Over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. And this was actually first, let's say, one of the few times in my life that somebody speaks about these things, and many things that you said, I have never found a even single man to discuss about these things. And this was very interesting. I have little knowledge of these things, what you spoke, but a lot of new things came, and we really need to be prepared for future. It's not gonna be easy time, but with God it will be easier, of course, if we are prepared.